welcome in everybody. RF Your Refugees podcast. Ted here, John here. We are back after a long snooze, a long hiatus as I mute my phone. Lovely stuff to hear phones going off while you're recording. Little rusty. We got the studio. Just Riverside was like, nope, we're just going to completely update the studio. So we were trying to get our bearings on all of that. So there might be some little glitches, but hey, it's the World Cup. Only the sickos, I think, are really risky.
I was wondering if I could stop. It's like a 10-second clap. You can stop it, so that's good to know.
That's good to know. Good to know. Troubleshooting live on air, right. like the professionals that we are. John, how do you, my friend? How is the break?
The last 3 weeks, however long it's been. It's been good. It's been good. I was just telling you before we hit record. And by the way, I think we had talked about this as soon as we get into the room, we're going to start letting Patreons hear what nonsense we're talking about before the show as like the only live stream because the other one, whatever. But I was just telling you that I fell on I was playing ice hockey. I hurt myself. I asked a physical therapist who is a parent of another kid in class. And I was like, do you have any recommendations? She's like, yeah, you're 41. Stop playing hockey. And then I was at so I hurt myself. I'll tell the whole story. So we got no games to talk about. So I had like an open ice practice with one other guy, and he only started playing 2 years ago, and he's very good now. He just plays 5 days a week. I'm like, wow, I can't do that, but good for you. So we were playing. I'm like, I can't stop on my right edge. Like I'm on the outside edge of my right foot. I can't do it. I've been playing roller for a million years, and I still couldn't do it. He's like, well, you just gotta do it. It's like, you're right. I just got to do it. I just got to throw my body at the problem, and then I will just react. My body will know what to do. I'm quasi-athletic. I'll be fine. So I skate as hard as I can, and I try to stop on the right, and then I just catch an edge, and then I fall flat on my face with my arm up, and my elbow hyperextends as I'm laying there. And I'm like, oh, that's no good. So I got hurt. Had the weekend. I went to the doctors on Monday, the soonest day possible, and then I asked this also the PT woman. Like, what do you say about this? It's like, well, we typically tell people to stop playing sports after the age of 35, particularly ones that have any sort of contact with any surface. It's like, okay, but are you the doctor? Or am I see somebody else too? She's like, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk to somebody else who does surgery and stuff, but that's just my advice. It's like, all right, well, that's great, but all good. I'm okay. I just got very bruised. I think this is also the problem that happens when you're 41. If you get an MRI, it will not show nothing. Something will be wrong. Like there's always there's a tear across the whole thing, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's fine. I was like, okay, good to know. Good to know. So that was like the bulk of my thing. I'm going to California in a couple of weeks on vacation. And I was like, am I gonna have like a giant elbow, like shield guard after just having surgery? Cause I didn't want that, but I won't, knock on wood, unless I do anything else stupid here in the next 2 weeks. And then I watched a lot of World Cup. All the stuff I said I wasn't going to do with the World Cup, I have done. I'm a man of no conviction with the World Cup.
It hooks you in, man.
It does get you. What did you? Are you full of bruises? What did you do? Are you not?
I am not full of bruises. I actually have not been doing as much working out as we have. Our house went from 0 dogs to 2 dogs, and that's had an impact.
That's a lot of dogs. That's a doubling of dogs very shortly.
Doubling of dogs. So very short time period, all younger puppies. One of whom is a little tripod. I
remember that one. That one I knew about.
Yes. And then my wife we saw another dog, and my wife really wanted to get back into the terrier. That's what our previous dog was. And so we got that. And then it's just been, but wrapping up the referee season, that's slowing down. Only had one game this Saturday. And then, I got some, the usual like summer league type adult stuff. This is why you referee, man. If you want to stay around the game that you love, that's why you referee. Because then you're not involved in all the idiot contact. You get to still run around. You get to get your exercise, and you get paid for it, which is also nice.
Well,
you are the bane of you are the worst part of every single person's day.
That is true.
Playing that sport, so that is a drawback. But
some people probably like that. Some people that actually gives them like extra juice to know that that's the case. I would say it's good to not be involved in all the stuff unless you're playing refereeing men's league in Fredericksburg. The last time I played, in which case there is a man chasing another man with a knife because of a tackle in a game. And the referee was like, I guess we're done. Obviously, game abandoned. So, it depends on the league you're officiating. Apparently, I guess in Richmond, you don't have such concerns. That's good. Fredericksburg apparently is dangerous. This was also like 20 years ago.
Well, every league can be dangerous. I did have somebody tell me they were refereeing, I think, in St. Louis, and that literally happened to them. And literally, the cop was arresting said player for pulling a knife on the referee, and literally the guy was showing him the red card.
I hope someone got a picture of that. That goes.
He says he did have a picture of it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man. But we got World Cup. We got some questions related to that. Let's dive into that. That's what's probably on everybody's mind. We got some DC news. We'll get to. We'll probably save some of the more. We'll talk the probably big story, I guess, of the off season thus far, of players leaving, and then maybe get into maybe some of the. Well, I don't know if this was like necessarily a surprise. Maybe it was a little bit of a surprise.
I think how it happened is a bit of a surprise. Yeah,
and some of the sort of surrounding news around it. We'll get into that, but let's talk World Cup, man. We're not gonna, we're not people, there are much better shows out there. Total Shocker shows are doing great.
All of them are better
soccer wise. These guys are doing it 24/7. We're not the ones that are going to be, breaking down the games. But give me some overall thoughts. How have you been enjoying it? I got some thoughts outside of the games to talk about.
Can you ask the question first from the Discord, because I think it goes along very well with my feelings.
Which one is it? Some Simply B1 or is it Slide Tackle?
The one about tell them how to feel for watching this whole tournament.
Can you provide absolution for those who are enjoying this World Cup and should know better? Hate FIFA, hate MTU, hate Tipic Money, hate the FIFA prize, but damn it, love Curaçao, Cape Verde.
It is unavoidable. It is unavoidable that these stories occur, and you're like, I'm not going to be propagandized by FIFA with these human interest stories that they don't even actually care about. Like they hope that all these things don't happen. They want a Spain-France final. And then Cape Verde happens. And then Japan plays the way that they play. And all the other, and what happened today. I think it's like that was the Cape Verde was this morning. When we're recording. But it's unavoidably, if you love soccer, unfortunately, they know they have you. It's like, we're going to show you all these games every day for a month. You're going to watch. There's no way you're not going to watch. We're going to take the rest of soccer away from you, so you can't escape it if you like soccer. We've got all the soccer.
It's the one event. It's, there's a lot of really bad stuff that's surrounding this World Cup. Mm-hmm. There's the, how the Iran soccer team is being treated, the referee from Somalia. And then there's these little pockets of good stories, like the city of Lawrence, Kansas, like literally just opening their arms to becoming like, the second Algeria capital, Algeria 2, playing the national anthem, celebrating the team for arriving there. So, there are these little like pockets of good stories in there. And the games are the games. They're still going to be fun to watch. It's soccer every day. It is the one thing that, all of your soccer friends talk about. It also breaks through, the usual, like, no one in my work was talking about, Arsenal winning the Premier League. Everybody was talking about, the World Cup and watching the games and stuff like that. So it is something that breaks through, and it's impossible to avoid.
I have been a big grump about it. All of my coworkers have been like, John, aren't you excited? Are you going to go to all the games? I'm like, no, I'm not going to go to any of the games. I hate this tournament. Yeah. I hope the U.S. gets eliminated it doesn't even make it out of the group. I want nothing but pain and suffering and sadness for the ridiculousness that is this World Cup. And here I am, Eagle gifts ending. As soon as I watch this U.S. team score 4 goals, I understand the competition. I understand they scored the most goals they've ever scored in a World Cup game. That's exciting. Unfortunately, my latent suppressed, purposely hidden in a box and put behind a padlock, sports patriotism is seeping out of the walls and shooting out. I can't help it.
Yeah. There's definitely, I will state the muted patriotism. I am not, putting myself in a USA jersey. I'm not painting myself up. I am happy when the US does well. It is a certain sense, the negativity that sort of surrounds this team is turned me off for years. And so it is very happy to see, the team do well with players, and also, I look at a certain commentator on Fox who supports politicians, where this U.S. team, if they got their way, the U.S. team wouldn't exist as it is. Immigration makes a strong part of that. And that part of the tournament, that part of this U.S. team I really love. Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Timothy Weah, all these players that, have come from different backgrounds. And yes, there is the one player out there who we all know where he stands, and he's made it very clear where he stands, and that's disappointing in a number of ways, or in Folarin Balogun as well. Just all those players are players that I personally root for and want to do well. So I've learned to just kind of set it to the side. I'm not as crazy as I was, but you get sucked in. You get sucked into the games and everything like that. I will state, man, Fox's coverage is atrocious, and I feel like it's gotten to the point now where we're 3 years in. It's like everybody's just kind of accepted that it's bad. It's really bad. When you not only have the opening ceremony, which has Shakira, by the way, which I think a lot of people, even in the U.S., would be interested in seeing, you completely bypass that. Like, I was watching, I was like, where's this open? I almost missed it. I was like, they got to show it, right? And then I immediately found, Telemundo, and of course they were showing it. But, just so awful. They had an interview between Zlatan and Tom Brady, and like that's the type of coverage. But really, what really annoys me,
right there.
What really annoys me right now is just how much Fox just feels like they have to just, like, to get the max amount of ratings, they just have to play down, like, they have to play down to the lowest common denominator. And that's what these moves kind of feel like. And I feel like ESPN in, 2010, 2014 showed you could put on a smart production. You could trust your audience to follow along a little bit. And, who cares if maybe some people don't get it? It doesn't matter. Do it for the people who actually do care. Give some smart coverage, do some good things. But, really, and, again, the camera work, we talked about it, the amount of celebrities they showed, the amount of people that they show on these broadcasts is just, it's awful. The back of Paris Hilton. Yeah, we all really needed to see that during live action.
I did very much enjoy the cutaway shot to the OnlyFans and adult film actress. Action. That was very funny. That was funny. So there's I don't know if that. I'm hoping. It would be very funny to me if they didn't know who Mia Khalifa was, and it was just like, look at these pretty women.
The cameraman totally knew.
No, but it would be funny if they were just like, check out these hot ladies. Let's get the shot in like we do normally for Telemundo.
I have no idea who Mia Khalifa is or the Lana Rhodes. No idea who you're talking about. No idea who you're talking about. But no, it's
Changing the subject. So the United States scores 4 goals. Balogun I think everyone was saying, like, get ready to learn a better team, because you're going somewhere else after this tournament. He's already 4th all time in U.S. men's World Cup goals, which I think is hilarious. Make sure to also, for every stat, you really do need to add the gender in, because they're going to be much lower than all of the women totals for every single category. So be sure to qualify. But as much as, he probably regretted not being able to be at the UFC fight last night, I think Pulisic did look incredible for 45 minutes. I'm hoping, I really do hope that the calf injury that he potentially may have is nothing. It just, being a Chelsea fan and watching Pulisic, be just incredibly brittle, unfortunately. Even this sort of, it's okay, we're just being precautionary. In your head, you instantly go to doomerism, like, his leg's going to fall off now, clearly.
And in the media coverage, even Tyler Adams trying, he's fine, don't worry about it. Like, they're putting like a full frontal, like,
there's nothing to see here. He has no injury history whatsoever. What are you talking about?
Yeah. The game was great. I mean, it was a purely dominant performance. I do people say, that was the best win in the U.S. ever. And I'm like, calm down, buddy.
It was the most goals. We can say that for sure. That is the one thing we can definitely say.
Most goals, way the game was played, I'll give you all that. But biggest group win, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, my friends. Portugal takes the cake. And that is going to be an incredibly difficult one to overcome, especially with the fact that it was also another 3-0 victory in the first half for that team. So
I hate that they gave up that goal. I understand from a margin, whatever. I did not like that. The Gio Reyna goal is nasty. That one's gonna be the highlight goal. His celebration. You don't got to give it to him. I get that he wants to put everything behind him, I guess, kind of, but also wants to celebrate in a way that's not putting it behind him. So tough to decide there, I guess. But
the most hilarious part of that goal is I think right before he scores it, he is like getting into the face of like a Paraguay player, and Tyler Adams, I think, has to come and like break him up so he doesn't get like sent off, and then he like runs down the field, gets an opportunity in the box, and scores like an absolute worldie. And then also saying, no, I've grown up, we're all behind me, all the criticism, everything's behind me. And then he does like the little like ear cover celebration, just like the duality of the guy. If you're looking at some players who I think If they ended up at DC, I would not be shocked. He'd be one of them. I'm being truthful there. Got it, that DP slot. You don't have a lot of international slots. I don't know. Might be worth to roll the dice on him, especially when you are a team in desperate need of chance creation. I think there's a chance if he stays healthy, he could be pretty good. There's obviously a lot of the baggage, but
him and Caden Clark could have the weight of the American Wunderkind party in DC United.
Yeah. We gotta. Do we want to go? We done with World Cup? I will say, I think the one thing. I think everybody's been talking about the 48 team stuff. Sometimes stuff can be for money, but I think it can be for a good reason. I think I've started to come around to the idea that, giving other nations opportunities in this World Cup, even if they come and they get, blown out. Each of these teams that were supposedly the teams that were going to be, dog walked, like Curaçao and Cape Verde,
Cape Verde best stories you can have right now.
Yeah. Had the moments, having Haiti in the World Cup, with all their, I'm someone I've come around to the idea that, these are teams that would never get an opportunity if it was 32. And expanding that out is a good thing. And you still have teams that, screwed up, like Italy missing out for the third time.
I was going to say, but I think it's better to have a Cape Verde than it is to have an Italy. If you're gonna like expand the field, there should be like a gap of like almost made it like, you don't get to go. You should have just been better. You had all the resources. You've got no excuses. Now below you, we're gonna add in this third tier just to make the party exciting. And it's worked so far. Clearly, the good times will not last forever. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the good vibes until the next game. I think I would say the other thing about the good thing about the size increasing of the field is that the game inventory increases and you're able to have all of these games early on every single day. It's great. It's like you can really lose yourself for a couple of weeks in this until we go to the knockouts.
And I think it was a good thing. Obviously, the increase, it's one extra game. You're talking about a team that's to make it to the final. Yes, there's a lot about. I will state also, I feel like these were games that were like the group stage was like once every 3 days. It was like a 3-day jump to like the next game. So it is interesting that now there's like a little bit more of a gap. It's a little more of a rest period. 5 days is, your general 5-6 days you're seeing now between the games. So I don't know. Maybe it makes a little bit of a difference.
Pulisic doesn't need that though, because he's neither injured nor has injury history at all. So
what are you talking about? He's good. He's good.
I don't know.
All right.
Do you want to talk Spirit or do you want to go right to DC United?
Let's talk Spirit and then we'll talk DC.
Yeah. So I was at the last home game and I wrote about it on Blue Sky, but I think that I kind of just want to talk about my impressions, and it's been a while since I've been to a Spirit game. I haven't covered a Spirit game. I haven't been to many DC United games either in person. But I just still, my takeaway, even now weeks later, I'm still blown away at the difference in vibes, in attitudes, in the fan base, in the in-stadium production. The stuff about the in-stadium production thing is the most stark because they're in the same building. And they're using the same materials, and the spirits is so much better. Like it's so much more well thought out. For years, this is dumb, but I'll highlight it. For years, DC United's videos at the start, like their sort of their stadium announcement videos, their lineup announcement videos, have always been like they brought somebody in who was like, "All right, so I have done 800 videos for soccer teams." To do exactly this. I'm going to need one of you to grab the ball with 2 hands and yell. I'm going to need one of you to put your hand on your hips and stare off. And we're going to use a lot of we're going to intersplice some highlights, but it'll just be like loud and bright and black and red. That was my creative brief that I got. So we're going to do that. And in the Spirit, utilize this jersey rollout, the Metro City integration, the cherry blossom thing. Everything like from player to player, it's like a Metro car goes by and then a new player arrives every single player has the full video suite. So when they sub somebody on, they've got the whole thing, even I think if they're a late add-on. Like that, it makes me think of, remember Ted, when you and I went to the Atlanta game in Atlanta, where it's like, this is amazing. It's like they have employed very skillful video editors with ideas and they've done things and they've used their money well. And I got the same impression with the Spirit.
I think it's certainly more of a time thing. I think it's, resources, time, effort, energy, and, nothing to take away from the people that probably work at DC and do an incredible job. But I think, I bet a lot of them are stretched thin. They probably had this very narrow window of time that they could do it. They don't have a lot of time. They can really plan stuff. You see it I think a lot in their, the schedule rollout videos they do. DC's they had to get creative, but it's clear they're not operating with a lot. Like there's some teams that are like operating with way more and are able to do more. Like I think one was just like 1 year they just did a skit literally with like the staff and like that was it. And then like, and literally Wayne Rooney like tweeting it out or something like that, or something to that effect. So like there's a lot of that stuff I think you see. I haven't been to a Spirit game this season. I went last year. Vibes are great.
Team's it's just fun to so watch. Stark. I wouldn't make a big deal about it if I wasn't so blown away by it. The thing I also noticed, the difference in the fan base, in their optimism, in their mood during the game, in their attentiveness outside of the supporter section across the board is stark. And there's a reason for that, is that DC United fans who know better have been beaten down to feel a certain way. So they have the weight of 25 years, and obviously less than that, the weight of, we'll say 10 years of disappointment. And the Spirit have basically had a rebirth entirely and have shed a lot of the things that were about them that were, I don't even know the word, like bad. Things that were bad, things that were embarrassing, things that were criminal, things that were hostile work environment creating. And they've just decided to be something different, and they have been. And ownership is the key driving force behind that. I think you can tell the resources, to your point, are certainly different. But I also think that they have a much more like a marketing focused business management mindset with all the stuff off the field. And that is important. Like DC United, I don't get that impression. I don't really get that impression. I feel like the Spirit are a wonderful direct to consumer brand on Instagram. Like they have thought it all out. They've gone end to end with it. They've got great ideas. They have interesting and fun ways to engage. And that's all on this side of the field. And then they also spend all of the money on the players. The player is another place to look at, and the roster, where you look at a team that's almost entirely made up of international players. When you look at a team that is almost entirely made up of players that every other team would want on their side, where you're looking at them, you're like, I don't really understand the salary cap here, but how is this happening? How are they able to do this? You don't look at DC United and think that. You look at that DC United and say, they have a lot of room on their cap, right? Like they've got room to sign players. I would imagine they could just go shopping and pick anybody they want. So that is, if you are a Spirit fan and you know it, I'm not telling Spirit fans anything that they don't know. Is that you have this is a great time to be a Spirit fan. All of the things are converging at exactly the right moment. And DC United, while things are certainly improving, you cannot deny that where they're at this June as compared to last June, not even looking at the table, just looking about like forward momentum, better coaching, seeming like they're putting things together and creating building blocks to go forward. Things are better, but it's just such a big gap for them to climb. And the Spirit are doing them no favors by being on a rocket ship to the moon every single year, regardless of coming in second for everything. They're in the conference. They're in the games. They're in the championship games. So it doesn't go their way, but they've done everything they can do to get there. It makes me so happy to see it. It makes me so happy for Spirit fans that have been there since the Plex and they're here. I'm like, you guys probably don't even it's just like when we talk to Ashley Hatch or Andy Sullivan. Andy Sullivan's been there forever, and we talk about like how things have changed, and she's like, I can't even, it's like a different universe. It's like I was there at the Big Bang start of the universe, and now I am at the end of it, and it's the same place, but it's entirely different.
Yeah. It's fun on the field to watch too. This is, I'd say, if you are not watching the Spirit, you're completely missing out, because they are an incredibly fun team to watch across the field, and they are rocketing up the standings as far as it goes. There was the international break, which was hard because it was like trying to like the fact that DC was also off and there was like hardly any like local soccer, even though I guess I did have my your
Kickers Loud United game.
Yeah, there was the Kickers Loud United game, which did not end well. Not that we won the Open Cup, so we'll take it. But yeah, man, it's been, the team is fun to watch. They're winning games. They're putting forward efforts. They are, I think right now they are currently fourth in the standings. They will probably rock it up. I believe they have at least 1 or 2 games in hand on most of all their teams. So they will not stay fourth for long. I think they will find them right up there, probably top of the table. They have a path to be top of the table, and they're good enough, deep enough, just like the wealth of resources they can bring off the roster. Gift Monday was like the leading scorer last year, and now she's very much like an impact player off the bench.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think I don't want them to finish first. I want them to finish whatever the lowest position that they can still get more home field advantage at least, or like I don't want them to
this year.
It's written in the stars, my friend. If they're ever going to do it, this is going to be the year. But I don't want them to have a break. I don't want to buy. I just want them to play at home and just keep on going because it's Anyway, if you're whatever reason, and we have some DC United fans that are like this that just aren't interested. Like, put your head in the sand at your own peril. Like you have like an amazing natural resource in your backyard that you are ignoring for some reason. So it's like not going to the Smithsonian. It's right there. It's free. It's the best museum in the world. You have one of the best women's soccer teams in the world, and it's right here, and it's in the same stadium you go to all the time. The end.
Yeah. All right. Now let's drop down a little bit into the mud to talk about some of the bad. Let's
We're into the middle of the misery index, right? Like we're at the top. Now we're maybe in the middle.
Hey, are you hungry? Said, would like to hear your thoughts on where you think Herrera will end up. Probably not MLS. Let's talk about Aaron.
Why are we asking about him? What did something happen with Aaron Herrera last week?
Well, we heard he wanted to leave. We heard he asked to leave. Apparently DC United has chosen to waive him. Now let's talk through. I think a lot of people are like, why couldn't you find a trade? I think a number of reasons, one of which will not helped by the fact that he is apparently appearing in a lawsuit for hazing. Did some not so good things. I'll let you read the article. I won't, discuss it or bring it up here, but very much a not good situation there. Probably made it maybe a little more easy for them to waive him. Could that impact where he ends up? Whether anyone else on MLS takes his contract? Maybe.
Probably not Salt Lake. I think probably Salt Lake would be one place he's not going to go. Nope. I would assume.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't heard anything about whether he has found another landing spot or like where he's going to end up.
The implications are important here, right? So if we waive him, we still have the lion's share of the salary on our cap for the rest of the year, correct?
So the way it works is you waive a player, and then basically, other teams can say, basically, it's like how much do you want to take on to of his contract? Like how much do you want to do it? And the team that takes the most, that's willing to take the most, gets the player. And then, if it's a tie, it's by the waiver order. So if all 15 teams say we'll take the minimum salary minimum, then, it goes to whatever team is top of the waiver order. So that's kind of how it works. You can buy out then the rest of that contract. So you do have the option. This happened last year with who was the Costa Rican player whose name I can't remember, that DCB Renda Leal. Leal was waived by Nashville. DC took him on the salary minimum that year, and he was bought out. Nashville bought out the rest of his contract, freed up the DP slot, and everything like that. So,
but DC United, I believe, have used both. We don't have any buyout.
Well, we don't know. They waived. Baji and
Schnag.
Oh my gosh, and Schnag and David Schnag. Feels like
it does feel like 5 teams ago for sure. It's
5 teams
they waived
ago.
Joseph Mora.
But David Schnag, Baji's contract was incredibly small. I think it was somewhere 100,000, 70,000. Let's go look at the whatever.
Which makes you kind of wonder why that was the contract they decided to exercise. I think the problem there, he's had another year guaranteed as well. It was a 2-1, I believe, or 1-2.
It might have been, yeah. But they, I don't know if they bought out his contract or whether they, potentially either bought out his contract or that might have been one they might have been okay just kind of keeping on the books, relatively small. They might have bought out David Schnag. That could have been a big one they bought out. Maybe they didn't have to buy out. Maybe they didn't buy out Pastor. I don't know. They haven't stated. And I think part of the waive process is that I think maybe don't have to necessarily then officially say whether you used your contract buyouts or not. So maybe it's
because why would you want that information to be known by anyone?
Yeah. But I mean, essentially why couldn't they get a trade? Herrera's contract was massive. You would be looking for a trade partner. You would be looking for a team to take on a lion's share of that contract, and that would lower what you would be able to get. So, and I think also the story that just came out, probably also, contributed to the factor as well as maybe not a lot of teams interesting. We'll see. I think I've been reading kind of the Spanish, some of the Spanish media refer to it as a contract termination or a contract buyout. So be curious to see.
It will be interesting. I think that the timing could not have been any worse from a player value perspective to have maybe this happened 3 weeks after Rene's like, this player wants out and I'm not going to play him anymore. So we want to move him on. I'm like, well, what if we made him even less attractive or desirable for other people to take on?
I genuinely think that like this would have been. I kind of think a lot of that stuff that people talk about the public, like the public acknowledgement, I think is kind of a little bit overblown. I just feel like everybody talks. The agent's probably talking to other teams. Other teams are inquiring. I'm sure it is. I'm sure in some situations it is, but I think it maybe became pretty clear that maybe he didn't want to come here. Maybe he went publicly to the team and talked about it. And, they were like, yeah, we're looking to rebuild, so we'll see. I don't know if they use the contract buyout. I'd be curious to ask him if we ever get the chance or ever get the opportunity, but that's the thing there. The big question is where, hopefully that frees up, if DC did use their buyout, that frees up like almost $1 million in salary space. So that would be nice. But yeah, I don't know, like it's kind of a shame. This is a player, like I think we all thought would be kind of a bedrock of this team for a while now. And It's kind of sad that it's kind of ended like this, but it's sad like a lot of other.
And like I think you can bet well that wherever he does land, he is going to play. He's going to play well. He's still a good player. He's still when in the position that he is most strong in a system that values that and focuses on that, he'll do well. There's no doubt about that. So he's a player. We sort of track the ex-DC United players. Like he'll be one that's going to go. I don't know if it's going to be MLS right now. I know he may have to go somewhere else in the meantime to rebuild some of that value. Maybe not. So now this team, we already needed right back. We probably wanted right back depth anyway. Now we need it more urgently than we did before.
And there is a certain free agent who has, well, I guess he's a left back, but that might help you get some depth. I don't know. Maybe something.
Who are we talking about?
I'm talking about Kevin Paredes no longer being.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think he's got other gig. Yeah. Based on the way he's posting on Instagram, I think he's got something.
Well, let's talk about that. What player, if any, from a dark horse dark horse team has caught your attention? I'm assuming you're talking World Cup.
Yeah.
Japan, I think. Team, I think that maybe has caught my attention. Nice little comeback draw, against the Netherlands. Any team catching your attention so far?
I was going to say Japan also. My daughter was watching. She's like, they're all so short. I was like, yeah, well, also the Dutch are all like freakishly tall. So it was a study in contrast that made everyone look a little bit strange. But yeah, no, I was really impressed. I was trying to think like, who do I think is going to make a dark horse run? And they seem to me to be very tactically flexible and able to sort of withstand a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they have the goal scoring. If they're not going to like blow any team away, I think they're just going to be competitive in all their matches, and I think there's real value in that.
And what player he's asking if any caught your attention, and where DC United would be a realistic transfer for?
That's a struggle.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I do want to state, Gio Reyna on a 1 year. Maybe honestly, you sign him for half this year. And then the rest of the year, and then the shortened season with maybe an option for 27, 28 with the idea, that maybe then he finds he blows it up. But you're talking about a team that's so desperate for chance creation, that's so desperate to have anybody that can come in. Gio Reyna, if he came in focused, ready to go, would do that for DC United. Absolutely 100%. That would be a potential triangle if on form to happen. So I don't know if I'm, right now he's not really well liked at Mönchengladbach. I think maybe you could even get a loan there. I don't know where's his contract situation there. I think scoring the goal may have increased that valuation.
It's the worst time to go shopping. It's the best time to be selling. It's the worst time to be shopping.
Another player to keep an eye on, I think Ashur, I think is his name, for Egypt. I think he was rumored. There were some rumors. I don't know. They weren't real big, significant, but there were rumors. Obviously he plays at the Egyptian club that Rene managed at, and there were some rumors that he was shopping around for him. He scored a absolute banger against Belgium today. So another player maybe to watch out for. Maybe those start to pipe up. DC does need to figure out their rosters, their international slots. So wouldn't be too. If
you could find a taker for our current number 9, Dennis Undav from Germany would be great. From Stuttgart, I don't know how much you'd have to pay. Probably 5 values of the entire DC United roster, but I love watching. I'm a passive Stuttgart supporter, so I enjoy watching him play. And he got his 1 of 7 goals there in the opener.
Capped First says, who do you two want to win the World Cup, and who do you realistically see doing it?
So those are two questions for sure. Well, you want Mexico to win, right? That's where your heart is.
Yeah, that's my wife's team. That would be a fun thing to see for them. So I would say definitely them. Japan would be, I think, a fun team to see win the win the whole thing, make a run, make kind of a surprise run. Who do I see realistically doing it? It's always tough to say. I mean, I guess Germany, would be one. They kind of took care of business to start. I think they're a team that can potentially put it together. Honestly, also could see France if they're focused and ready to go. They've got a lot of talent, and I don't usually bet on a team winning it again. Like, I don't know if Argentina. We'll see if Messi still has the smoke, but I don't know. Who do you want to win, and who do you realistically?
I would like Scotland, Japan to make deep runs.
Yes.
Scotland is for obvious off the field reasons, but also they played really, really well. I love watching them play. They look like a team that had been away for that long and knew the opportunity that they had in front of themselves. Like, it was not a team that looked jaded to be in the World Cup. I'll say that. And then I think Germany is also my number 2 team in general, but I think that they look very good. I think that they've got a strong roster. I'm not as sold. I don't think that there's any big bads. Like, I think people had felt like they had to say, like, oh, France has got a great roster. They're the lead dogs. But it just feels like to me that there's like a band of like 5 or 6 teams that the odds should be 2-1 for all of them. Any of them could do it. It's just a matter of how, do they get on a tear? Do they get any injuries? But yeah, I'd love to see Japan and Scotland go deep. I think once we finally have every group actually play match day 1, we can have a little bit. I might have a more emotional attachments to other teams, but that's where I'm at so far from the games I've watched.
I do want to state, as far as like the U.S. doing a deep run, one thing to kind of, I feel like in the World Cup, there's always that team that like flies out of the gate, and everybody's like, oh, that team's going to go far. And then literally like, that's like the best, that's the peak. And then it's kind of like a slow decline from there. If you really look at it, like teams that like Argentina last year, who had a very like, they lost to Saudi Arabia, very slow start, and they kind of built throughout the tournament. So we look already, Spain had a pretty embarrassing, you look at Spain, you look at Uruguay, these are teams that had like kind of like struggles in their first matches. So those can be teams that then they kind of start to put it all together, and they kind of grow throughout the tournament. They, end up, making it through to their group. I don't know. Something to consider. But you're right. This does feel like a World Cup. I don't know if there are like, Spain were the Euro champions. So I think they're a team we didn't mention. I think after the Cape Verde game, they kind of like definitely.
They're doing the Argentina. They're doing the first game disappointment, and then maybe they turn on the afterburners that they have. They absolutely do have.
Down the pecking order a bit.
I wish the Turkey game was before the Australia game. The Australia game will give you a little bit better perspective of how far you could make a run, I think, if you get out of this tournament. But if we played Turkey first, then your nerves could calm a little bit for the rest of the group. I wish that were the case. But that's all right. That's this Friday. That's a week between games. So what do you feel about the timing, about the the time windows for this World Cup?
I mean, I dig it. I understand, it's hard to fit, you can't fit all these games into like after work hours. So, I mean, I'm going to have to figure out, 3 p.m. on a Friday. What am I going to do?
Somehow we're managing to see most of these games. Thank God for remote work coming at this time. Certainly better than I remember. Maybe not last World Cup, but the one before, like watching on my phone in the cubicle. I was like, this is not living. I'm doing this, but this is not living. I don't enjoy this. But yeah, I like it. I don't like the 10 p.m. start on the game against Turkey in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. But that's just because I'm old. But I don't want that. 10 o'clock start is, East Coast time zone superiority here. You're really hosing people. Where is that game? Is that going to be in Vancouver? Where are they playing?
It is Seattle, I think.
It's LA.
Is it LA again?
Australia is Seattle and Turkey is LA.
Yeah, back to LA. So kind of a weird, like they just like really just did not want that team to move. That might be a benefit to them, whether the team's having to travel throughout the country and then deal with immigration here in the U.S. So, but yeah, definitely, again, enjoy the tournaments. Yeah, we know all that. We know everything. It's the nature around it. I was kind of actually glad the whole like DC Washington like UFC fight was there, because then I knew, I was like, okay, Trump is not going to weigh in. That's my biggest fear, is like, because the something that's so annoying. I don't care whether you like him or not. You have to be annoyed the way he just like inserts himself.
He's a What's the thing from in the shadows, the energy vampire?
Mm-hmm.
He's like a good vibes vampire. Like he can't help but go to whatever he sees. Like the Knicks are a great example. He sees like this wonderfully organic, like communitarian thing. He's like, I'm gonna go to that and I'm going to ruin it. I'm gonna make this bad. Like that. So yeah, he's gonna call. He's gonna, if they get out of this group, there's gonna be a phone call. It's gonna happen. But let's ignore it as long as possible. If you want to have more UFC fights full of things there, just to keep his focus on that, that's fine with me. I do want to say, like you mentioned it, like all the human interest stuff at the beginning, and like how people are going to Walmarts and being like, "Oh my God, this is the biggest gas station in the world." And many people have already talked about this. Is that it feels so good because you forget that Americans really do want to be loved as like people. Like they don't, they like, there's this whole like, the rest of the world's dumb. What the hell is a kilometer? Like all this stuff. That is all part, that's baked in. That's also part of it. But we also want everyone to love us, and we think that they should. And we are generally, if you take out like tribalism, if you take out politics, and if you just put a person in front of a person, like they do want to tailgate. They do want to give you a beer. They do want to talk to you. They may not care about your culture and where you're from and like want to like learn from you, but they want you to have a good time because they want to be liked. And it's just nice because we have all been in this doom zone for a long time now, but particularly as it pertains to like our position in the world and how we treat other countries. And none of that is us. Like that's just emanating from our country like laser beams. So to get an opportunity to like one-on-one interface culturally with other countries is really nice. It's just nice to that. Like you can be like, all right, well, when we disintermediate the politics and the leaders who are dead set on making this horrible, we can vibe. We can still be the place that people want to come to. And that's nice. That's just a good feeling because you don't get that anymore.
There have been people that have talked about how they've had interactions with Americans and people being genuinely nice and accepting. It's just, yes, our country is currently run by some very, very evil people, some very bad people, who are doing a lot of really, really awful, terrible, terrible things around this country. But there are still people that represents the people that they were elected by represent a quarter of the country who actually voted for them. Like, just think about that. And like 75% of this country did not vote for what we have right here. So that is a very big, a very large gap there. So, all right. I think with that, we're going to close out the free edition of the show. If you wonder hey, there was a bunch of other stuff that happened with DC. Well, we're going to talk about it on the Patreon show because that's for the sickos. And I think it's not a lot of big news, but I think some interesting things to discuss relating to the team. So if you're on the Patreon show, stick around. Again, $5 level gets you access to that extra content. So if you listen on the free edition, thank you again. Still, thank you so much for your support. We'll try to come back next week. We want to try to keep to that two show month, but we'll keep you posted. So thank you guys. Talk to you later.
Almost.